Hi, I'm Sandy from Leicester Libraries Neighbourhood Services, and my story today is about this guy here. I don't know if you can see, the Green Man, who's been around for a long, long time. In fact, once upon a time, when time was measured in sunlight and shadow, and a day was how long it took to walk to the next village. And Leicester was just a small place with few houses, no factories, and all around were fields and farms. And then beyond the farms and villages was the great wild forest, and that was where the Green Man lived. Some people said the Green Man was kind to all animals. Others said he was magic and could turn winter to summer. Others said he cared for the people that looked after the land and would help small children who were lost in the forest. And villagers would leave small bowls of food outside their doors at night for luck and for the Green Man. But who's this coming riding through the forest on a sunny day? It's young Lord Claude on a big horse with fine clothes and a feather in his hat. He's out hunting. Well, he's out hunting. The servants, his servants and the dogs are off in the trees trying to find wild animals to chase towards him. But nothing's come, and Claude is bored. It's a hot day. And then through the trees he sees the shine of water. It's a pool. So down he gets. Off come the clothes and splash. He's in the water, lazing, cooling down with his eyes closed. So he doesn't see, out of the bushes, a sun-browned arm take Claude's clothes. And when he comes out of the pool, no clothes and no horse. They've gone. Well, all that's left on the ground is a piece of old rope and some leaves. So Claude uses the rope and some fresh leafy branches to make himself some leaf clothes, and he ties them around himself, and then he tries to start to walk his way back home, but he's a long way into the forest and Claude's not used to walking. He doesn't know the way, so it begins to get dark and Claude is lost, and he sees a cave and crawls in and huddles on the floor to spend the night. In the morning, there's a noise at the back of the cave and, "Who's there? I'm armed," says Claude, grabbing a stick. But it's just a little goat. Meh, a nanny goat. What's that doing here in the forest? But, well, nanny goat, that means goat's milk. So that's my breakfast, thinks Claude. And the goat is friendly and lets him milk her, which seems strange to Claude out here in the wild. He goes down to the pool and finds some wild strawberries to eat, but he's still hungry. Back at the cave, a hen? A chicken in the woods? Does someone live in this cave? Thinks Claude, and he looks more closely and he sees a clay jug and a stone axe, and there's a ledge with grass on it that looks like it's a bed for sleeping, and stones blackened from fire. This is someone's home, thinks Claude. So, well, they're not here now though, are they? And he finds a bowl with grain and feeds the goat and the hen, and then he's back down to the pool to see what else he can find with the jug and the axe. And there's a tall tree and bees high up. Well, bees means honey, thinks Claude. Yes, but bees means stings, and I'm not wearing much except leaves. He uses mud from the pool smeared on himself to protect himself from bee stings, and then up and up and up and up he goes to find himself some honey. And it's while he's up the tree that he hears, "Lord Claude, Lord Claude." It's the servants. He can see them in the distance. They've come looking for him. But, well, Claude looks at himself. All I've got on is leaves and a bit of rope. I can't shout to them. They'll see me like this. They'll never stop laughing at me. So Claude stays silent and the servants disappear off and don't come back. Claude climbs down. "It's all right," he says. "I'll go back to the cave, and when the caveman turns up, I'll ask him for clothes and the way back home." So Claude stays at the cave, and a day passes and a day passes and a day passes, and he starts to learn to live in the forest, in the wild lands. And the year turns, and the weather turns with it, and it's the end of summer now, golden lazy days. And Claude, he's not lazy. He's learned to pick the berries and catch fish, and he looks after the goat and the hen, and he does spend time just watching the forest creatures. They're not afraid of him now, the deer and the squirrels and the birds in the trees, and he feels at home in the forest and with his cave, and he's beginning to forget about fine clothes and the big house, and in fact he's beginning to forget his name is Claude and he's a lord, whatever that means. One day he hears a noise, moo, down by the pool. It's a cow, a mother cow, and it's rained heavily, and there in the middle of the water is her calf, her baby, stuck. Claude wades into the water and picks up the calf and takes it back to its mother, and they go off through the trees. I could follow them, thinks Claude, and find my way back through the farmland and ask a farmer the way home, but the forest feels like home now. So Claude doesn't follow. He stays on and carries on living in the forest, and the year turns, and the weather turns with it, and after golden end of summer comes autumn, and it's colder now, and Claude has learned how to grind nuts into and the grain into bread and bake it on those flat fire stones, those hot stones, and a family of hedgehogs has moved into the cave, and Claude thinks, this is my family, this is my forest family now. He goes out gathering acorns in the woods, and it's while he's gathering acorns he sees the wild pig, the fierce wild boar. He's old now, but he has tusks, and there in front of him are two small scared children, and their basket of acorns is scattered on the forest floor. He's after the acorns, not you, says Claude, and shoos the wild boar away. The children look up at Claude with his long hair blowing in the wind and his long beard and his leafy green clothes. Are you the green man? They say. Oh, Claude stops and thinks. His feet feel rooted to the forest floor. The sun is smiling down on him. Yes, he says, I am the green man. And he helps the children pick up their acorns, and then he walks with them to where the trees turn to farmland. He's beginning to know his way, and off they go. I could follow them, thinks Claude, but that goat, my hen, they need me. And he goes back to the cave. And the year turns, and the weather keeps turning, and winter comes, snow comes to the forest and all the land. And Claude does cross the farmland now to the villages at night, and he's very glad of those little bowls that the villagers leave out for luck and for the green man. And then he's back off to his cave to feed his goat and his hen and put more sticks on the fire. But he thinks about the warm, cosy light from the village houses, and he starts to remember his old big house home and the people there, his family there, and he misses them. And the year turns and warm spring comes again. There are wild strawberries by the pool, and Claude picks them to eat. And one day, splashing in the pool, there's a man having a swim, and there on the bank, a pile of clothes, a horse nearby. Claude stops. He reaches for the clothes and puts them on. Then in the saddlebag of the horse, there's a knife. He cuts his beard and hair, and then up he gets, and he's riding through the forest and across the farmland, past the villages, and as the sun goes down at the end of the day, there is the big house. Claude comes home. And everybody is amazed. The lord and lady, his mother and father, the servants can't believe it's young Lord Claude home again. It's been a year. They thought the wild animals in the forest must have eaten him. No, says Claude, the green man saved me. And Claude, well, he's not the same Lord Claude that he was before. He's stronger now from his year in the forest, but kinder too, gentle with animals. And every night he'll remember to put out a bowl of food at the big house door for luck and for the green man. Now, you might think the green man was once upon a time, and maybe you're right, but if you go into Leicester, to the middle of town, where Leicester Cathedral is, have a look at the stone arches and the outside of the building and just see if you can see that face peering out through the green leaves, and I think you'll find the green man is still here, hiding among us.